Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Is that the new janitor?
What, you think I don't do pro bono?
Oh, come on, have another glass, please. On me. No, on you. It's pro bono.
I do pro bono.
That's right, I know. You go, girl. You just spread that love. Spread it all around.
Well, honey, this is a funeral home, so you came to the right place. Now, who dead?
Mary Ann Herman.
Yes,
Mary Ann Herman.
That's right.
Mary Ann. Oh, that's right, the lady with...
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is a lady. I've known her for many years here in Los Angeles. She's an actor and a comedian. And is she a comedian? Woo-wee, woo-wee, woo-wee. So, without further ado, please welcome Karen Bankhead.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good to see you, ma'am. Good, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. It's good. We've been around for a long time. Let's see. We started this show December 7, 2015, and that was actor Ernest Harden was our first guest. So we've had 440 episodes. So we've been having fun doing this.
Oh, I'm so glad you're still doing it. It's a blessing.
Oh, yeah. Well, interesting. I give you a call. I said, can you make it? You said, oh, yeah, I can make it. There was no hardness about it. She said, oh, I can make it. I can make it. So I say to you, thank you, lady. Thank you. By the way, did you see the Grammys last night?
I did. I actually watched most of it, and I love what they did for the city of LA. That was very inspiring. And sometimes you watch the Grammys, you're like, I have no idea who these new artists are, but there was some great talent, and I was happy for Beyonce. I think that was a good surprise. You watched it?
Oh yes, I have to. Bankhead, when you're around them people, you never know who's going to get one. What's her name? She gets all the name all the time. She what's the name of that lady? She's with this guy who is a football player, and she's.
You mean Taylor Swift?
Did I say Taylor Swift?
You don't want.
No, I did not say that. Yes, she didn't get anything last night.
Yeah, I think she was having fun, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess last year was her year. Yeah, she had that huge tour, which
Yes.
and then now Beyonce's going on tour, so this is a good spot for her, I guess.
Yes, got
Not
two.
that I know too much about it, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
she was what 2 or 3. But she got what was it? It was Daphne. Yeah,
who are you talking about, Beyonce or
yeah,
Taylor?
Beyonce. She got a couple of them. I'm trying to think
Album of the year, and then
there you go. See that? I tell you that lady knows what she's talking about. Okay.
yeah, I'm on the fringe, but something, and I enjoyed. I wanted to see the tribute to Quincy Jones.
Oh, it was marvelous.
Yeah, that was nice. And,
and you brought my old boss in there, Stevie.
Oh, wow.
He's my old boss. I worked for him for a while.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
We saw him at Christmas time for the Christmas concert. Did you go to that? The one at where was it? The crypto, whatever.
Yeah.
It was a really fun. He was just having a ball. It was like you could just tell he was just celebrating. He had brought in all these special guests, and it was really wonderful.
Ah, that was a good. In fact, for those of us that were off screen, we were doing this. That's why I always keep one of these around with me. You never know when you might need them.
Yeah, touching it with this thing, We Are the World. That was one of my favorite documentaries this past year when they did that one, The Greatest Night in Pop or whatever, where they showed how We Are the World came together. I just enjoyed watching all the behind the scenes and seeing how people that are supposed to be divas really came together. That was really well done.
Yes, it was. My dear, where were you born?
Oh my goodness. Well, I was born in Vandenberg Air Force
Base.
Yeah, do you know about that? Now it's Space Force, which I'm not down with that, but my dad was in the Air Force, and so came out of there. So I'm a California person, but then I also lived in Florida, Mississippi, Arizona, and
Yeah.
then I came back. We made it back our way back to California. So
Yes. Your
yeah, what
father
about
gives, your father was in the military. He
Air
thanked
Force?
you for the service he did for this country, for this country. I was in
Yes.
the Navy for 22 years.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was
That's,
fun, and we got paid. So as long as we get paid once every, when you get out of the military, yeah, can't do that.
well, that's why you got all this. You know how to do things. You know how to, as my grandma used to say, you got to know how to do.
Oh, amen, amen. You got to do things in the military because they ain't got time to sit around and say, "Well, I don't know." Well, hey, give you an order, get to it, or you gonna get knocked upside your head. They don't play. Them homies don't
Well,
play.
that's right. And we just got back from, we had a little vacation in Hawaii and we did the Pearl Harbor thing.
Yes.
And
Oh,
we're down in that submarine, the boat,
yeah,
whatever, and then all the ships. And it just makes you respect what you
yeah,
guys do,
yeah,
and the sacrifice, because that was so, like the little submarine, it was like, how did
yeah.
anybody even live in this? And then on the
And
ships,
there
and
was a battleship. Yeah, there was a
yeah,
battleship.
for 20
Wow.
years. Bless
You
you.
went there. That's nice. I've been once to see that. And you know there's over 1,600 people in that inside. Their bodies are still inside that ship.
Yeah, it's very sobering. So, and it makes you think, like as much as our country and military and things going on in the world, you're like, well, I guess it was good that we defended our shores.
Gotcha.
So
Yes.
it was sobering.
So so you moved around. So you moved around different places, right?
Yes, yes. We lived, I was a kid. We lived in Mississippi. We lived in
Yep.
Arizona. I think I got my acting bug, I playing around in the backyard in the desert there. And then we did a lot of community theater in San Jose up in NorCal in what became Silicon Valley. I had some really great acting teachers in our community. And then I came down to LA to go to UCLA, but I was totally starstruck and I
Yes.
had acting bug. So I studied psychology, but I always in the back of my heart. So I can psychologize you if you need. No, and I think it's fascinating. I think the way our brains are wired or not wired, it's pretty interesting. But I always knew that entertainment was something that I wanted to do. So I thank God that it's worked out, maybe a circuitous route, but I'm able to do what I love even to this day. So between the writing and acting and the comedy.
I have that on my book. When did you start getting into the bug? The bug.
The bug. Yeah, well, as a little kid, I always say when we went to a Girl Scout camp in Santa Cruz, and we had to do whatever we could do, anything we wanted. And I wrote this play called Scouterella, which was a parody of Cinderella, and gave myself the lead role. And so I learned a little bit about writing for yourself and doing some comedy and improvising and all that. And then just doing state. We had a production of Porgy and Bess at the San Jose Civic Light Opera when I was little, whenever we had a chance to do musicals. I was in the band and all that stuff, and I did sports, but just being on stage, hearing laughter, once that's like very addicting, when you realize you can make people laugh. So I just came to LA and I was studying during the day and I took a few acting classes at night. I was fortunate, you know how it is, like in the business. I met a photographer and he looked at me, he's like, how old are you? Because I looked pretty young back then. And so it's like, if you could
Excuse
look.
me. I represent that one. I don't believe we. My little lady over there.
Yeah. And
That's
now that's
not
old,
any.
that's way back when, ancient times. But
Disagree. Disagree. Bing, bing.
oh, all right. Well, thank you.
I'll send you the bill next week.
I keep it. Well, nowadays, but back then it's like if you could look 12, but you were
Yes.
an adult and be on the set by yourself, that was a good thing. So I had that going for me. So I
Yes.
just started doing things. I didn't have a big, plan or intention. And
Yes.
I think actors, you can be determined, but
Mhm.
you know how it is. You don't know if you're gonna hit it. And I have friends who do lots of commercials or lots of voiceovers or just really having a ball doing theater all the time. And then some people get to do all of it or just a few things, So it's very fickle business that we're in, but I love the gift of entertaining. That's a good thing.
I'm about to tell you about a problem that I have with actors and actresses. Tony knows exactly what I'm about to say, and he's probably putting his hand on because he knows I talk about this all the time. Here's what it is. Actors and actresses who will go to or get jobs in the busy going into traffic, they'll do TV or film, but they refuse to get up on that stage. I get mad at them. What's wrong with them?
Oh, I hear you. I feel your pain. I that's one thing for young actors. If anybody ever asked me my advice, because there's as you know, there's no
Right.
better training, and it's fun, and it's a sacrifice, especially here in LA. For a while, you really don't get a lot of money, and but it's a labor of love, and I think the actors that I admire, they have that stage training. It's kind of like it's going to the gym, it's dance training, all the things that you have to be able to do on the stage is it's a different muscle. It translates, but I I don't know. I don't understand why actors who want to call themselves actors
Right.
don't get
Right.
on that stage. Right?
What is
At
it they
least
don't
do a few
understand? They
things.
can't they project their voices, so you make a mistake. So who don't make a mistake? You know?
Right. And it's a magic, like I was watching Kobe Bryant. There's that special about him that's on CNN, and he was talking about how he just the walking onto the court, hearing the ball bounce, and just the crowd cheering him on. And I always feel like as an actor, when you walk into even just doing a table read or just walking into an old theater, that smell, and just doing staging and rehearsals and dress rehearsals, all of that stuff that you don't get to do when you're doing, like a TV show or working for a couple of days on a movie. It's very different. And I love that smell. What is it? The smell of the grease paint, the roar of the crowd, whatever.
Well,
Um,
right.
is
Mm-hmm.
something. So
Shake a
I,
leg. Break a leg.
yes, but
Yes.
that whole, and I'm very rusty. I haven't done in a play in a long time because, I'm just not.
Are you planning on doing one? I keep something told me you did that.
Well, funny you should mention that. Last time I was with you, we were promoting the inner city, the thing at Barbara Morrison. And so,
Absolutely.
God bless her beautiful soul that we all miss. But I wrote a play, and I actually have ended up being in it a few times. It's called The Angry Black Woman Complex, so the ABW. And so I guess I have done that. That's the last thing I did was something that I wrote myself. And
ABW.
Yes. And I always have to kind of put out a caveat because people think, oh, angry black woman, what is that? That's negative, that's, loud and crazy. But it's very funny. It's a sci-fi based uh, play about a Black woman who is abducted by aliens because she has to become her anger is so justified and righteous anger, as most Black women understand, is this huge uh, energy source that is so out of this world that she gets the attention of these aliens who are looking for a new energy source. And so they hone in on this woman that's in Inglewood, righteously angry about several things. And so they question her and analyze the circumstances where she's had to unleash her ire on the people who are underestimating her or being racist or dismissive towards her. So it's been fun, and every time I write it and we read it, I get such great response because it resonates with everybody. And I think I wrote it about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's like it's more timely today than it was before. I look at people like Jasmine Crockett and Shatanji Brown Jackson in with Black women in spaces who have to put up with a lot.
Yes.
and,
Oh, yes.
and it's like we can't always go off on people in a way that we might want to, but we have to contain our anger and really focus it. So that this play kind of exemplifies a lot of that, but in a really funny way. And it's really fun. I'm really glad we're putting it on for Women's History Month this time. So,
Remember
I
who
appreciate
gave up the ABW the first time in your life was your mother.
that's and
Mom?
our grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It-
Oh, yes.
we
Yes.
couldn't look back on our yeah, like you look at Black women in history and we just go, That's all they have to do is just say or just give you a look and you know exactly how they're feeling. And not that much has changed. And I always tell my friends, it's like if you think about what our parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and
Yes.
beyond, how they survived, it's like we gotta be strong because it's been a journey and it's not over. So.
You have been doing well in this business. You have right now 39 events, plus an additional crew of 3. You're just doing a lot of good things, aren't you?
You know, I've been blessed and I feel a little I've been met, like C.S. Lewis says, he who has everything and God has no more than people who have God alone. And because I kind of stepped back from my career a little bit, I'm a caregiver. My husband and I, we have both of our mothers here in our home and we take care of them, which is my big priority right now. And it's a blessing, but I've had a wonderful journey. I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now, as as the writer says, but I've had the opportunity to work with some great artists. I've been able to be on some great sitcoms, and some great shows. And so I'm not finished yet. You know, there's some things I'd love to do, but I also feel like I'm not doing that Hollywood shuffle like I was at one time in my life. And that's kind of refreshing too, because you kind of take it or leave it and pick and choose and be a little bit more selective. Because it's a grind, being an actor, you have to be ready. You have to be on a lot. You get those calls, at the last minute. And if it's for you, you got to hustle sometimes to get yourself ready. So I'm in a good place, but yeah, I really love a lot. I've had so much fun and I appreciate, sometimes people recognize you from stuff you did years ago that makes them laugh, and all these stations and Netflix bringing back a lot of the old shows that people get to kind of experience for the first time. It's great, as you know. So
We just happen to have a video that was made in 2018. This was when you had a movie called Parenthood. Tony,
Oh.
roll it, sir.
And our guest star, Ms. Bettina Brooks.
That's Mrs.
Mrs. Bettina Brooks, the author of the controversial bestseller, Women Know Your Place. And representing the opposing point of view, she's a graduate of Howard University, and she's currently studying law here at NYU, Mrs. Jerry Peterson.
That's Ms.
Ms. Jerry Peterson.
Who's that guy? What his name?
hey, Robert Townsend.
Well, of course.
And I also actually got to work with him again. He did the Little Richard story with Leon, I believe, was playing, and he directed that. So I got to play the woman who wrote Tutti Frutti.
Oh, Rudy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was great fun.
He opened up the door for a lot of people, and he's just a good guy. I've known him over the years. Anyone who knows him knows he will help you. He will do anything for you. He'll do anything for you. Okay. Who are some of the TV and film actors and actresses that you admire?
TV or just in general, or
all the above. Get them all, please.
all the above. Well, I have to say I'm a big fan of The Office, that I will watch if I'm on a plane or anywhere. And even though I've seen an episode, I will watch that for however long. I just appreciate the humor, and so a lot of the actors on that show. I'm a big fan of. I love Kevin Kline. I love and of course Meryl Streep, Viola Davis. I'm a big fan of Tashina Arnold. I've been watching her. I think she deserves some awards because we watch a lot, with our moms here. We watch a lot of syndicated television just for laughs. And when I see her in Martin, and then The Neighborhood now, and then also Everybody Hates Chris. Both her and Terry Crews in that show, and then Bernie Mac show, that show. I think those shows were really, they stand the test of time. They're really creative, and I think her comedic muscle is really unmatched. And let's see, who else do I like? I like a lot of it. I think it depends on their circumstance, but people make I love Del Rio, and just there's quite a bit I tend to watch. And I guess one of my favorite movies is Soap Dish. I love Robert Downey Jr. in that. I love him as a comedic actor. He's very different. I know he does a lot of drama too, but he's always been funny to me.
Here's a question that I'd like to ask of you. Madam, the support from family and friends, what do they say to you about what you do?
They are my biggest fans. My sister has always been my touchstone, when things get crazy. She's the one who's like, girl, you didn't need that anyway, or whatever. They don't know what they're talking about. When you have a disappointment, you need a sister like that who's, keeps you up. My parents were always, I think when I first got out of college and I was really contemplating going to law school, and my dad was like, well, give it 2 years. And if you don't do what you want to do in show business, you can always go to law school. And then it was basically 2 years later, I was on a sitcom. So that was kind of refreshing. And I was like, okay, Dad, see, it happened. But and then like right now during the pandemic, like I'm here with my husband. He's one of my friends. I did Edame, the character that I do, Edame Mumfries. I did a one-woman show, and one of my friends who had not met my husband before, and she said, I knew he was the one for you, and I saw how he was just laughing at all of your jokes in the audience. And she's like, and I know he's heard them all before. And I'm like, you're right, because we met when I was doing a show and I was doing Edame, and he was in the audience. But we have our moms, like during the pandemic, we started doing am I frozen here? We started doing the stay-at-home choir with our mothers, and they were I just had them singing and being funny along with me. So that was a blessing. They're here. Anytime I put on my hat and bring them along, they're willing to just go along with me. So that's great. So
there's a thing, a document that we look at called IMDb, the online database of information related to films, to television series. I know people are taking notes right now. I hope they are. By the way, I've worked over 20-some years over there at Santa Monica College. And I used to always tell the students, you're in college, get the pen and pencil out, take notes. And I'd bring to their attention something that I'd like to share with you and anybody that's walking by. You ever seen this before?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. That looks like a cell phone there, sir.
It's a telephone. It has a name that I give it to everybody. You ready? You all writing this down? I call this. Uh-oh. I call this second brain. Second brain. You have one brain
second
up there,
brain.
and you run out of space. So you say, okay, Google, what's your name? Helps out everyone. Look at that. Look at it. Just dumped that. Look at that. My special nickname is the Google Assistant. It talks back to me all the time. We always talk to each other. Second brain. I hope everybody's paying attention. I always share that with people. It'll help you anytime you don't remember. Sometimes you have to think about, what's that? Oh, okay, Google. And it'll tell you all the good things that you have and you know about. Okay. We got a few more minutes to go, and I'll say it. All I can say to folks in this business is get to know those information sources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And getting back to where when we check your IMDb, you see 39 actresses, 3 additional crew, 2 producers, 2 writers, 1 director, 2 self, 1 archive. Wow, lady, you smoking, as they say. That's the kind of thing that people like that. They like to see that in the business. Wow. Well, here's another one. Right. Here's another one. Please note that anyone who is credit full pit, and this is how you use, because I go to IMDb in a minute. I know you do. That's where you get that information. Find out what you want to see. Let me see. You had your first IMDb in 1984, Access Raid. back then, and the first one you won was Party Animal. Well, Tony, would you take us?
Oh,
We got one
oh,
for you.
please don't put that one up. I've never even seen that movie, quite honestly. But back in the days of Dramalog, you remember when you could I'm sorry, I think I'm frozen.
Yeah.
When you could um look in the back of a that little newspaper and get a job like that.
Yeah.
I think that was an interesting movie. I didn't really know what it was all.
I've got something for you. It's a little bit better than what you were just talking about. This goes back to the year 2000. It was called Curb Your Enthusiasm. Remember that? Hello? Okay.
Oh, I do. I'm trying to get my thing. That was actually, oh, I guess I don't know how to get my internet better for you. Is it kind of wobbly for you? Let me see what's going on. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, while you're thinking about it, let's go ahead and roll it for you.
Larry David. How you doing?
Okay.
You remember me, Denise Pendergrass? We had a meeting a few years ago. I met with you about that film project you were doing.
Oh, Sour Grapes.
Sour Grapes.
The wine producer.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I remember.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so glad I ran into you. Because we had a really nice meeting. And, you said my resume looked great. And you said I was qualified. And then I didn't hear from you. And, all these years I wondered what happened. Because I really wanted to work with you.
Give you a copy. Curb Your Enthusiasm. That was really a very good movie, the way you did it. We want to thank you for that, Karen. I'd like to thank you. Indeed. You came in a little bit early. We thank you so very much. We do this every Monday at 11 a.m. So let's go back again. I'll be bringing you back again. We'd love to have you. Hope that we see you again, as they say. And in the meantime, best wishes.
Absolutely.
To you. Say it again.
To you too. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you. Don't be a stranger.
No, I won't. As we say, ladies and gentlemen, Karen Bankhead. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you. Talk to you.
This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. Yes, we can. What it is, we'll send you a copy of this, and actually you'll see that you're talking about it, and we can hear it. Who's that handsome young man on that picture there? Who is that guy? And how did you like that opening? Handsome, suave and debone, as we call it. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman who does it all this time. Now, he goes by the fellas that they call a perfect man. That's what they told me, and he is a perfect man. By the way, folks didn't know this. He is, and I'll tell his business in the street. He has all kind of degrees, and the last one he looked at is called PhD. He's got master's degrees, and he's got a PhD. We call him Doc. Congratulations. It's good to see you worked hard, Doc, to get those deuces and things, and they didn't give them to you. They didn't give them stuff to you. So I'm told that they have, now, what you just saw, ladies and gentlemen, was the South Side Symphony. I'm told they have chapters in LA, Chicago, the Bay, and Atlanta. Sounds very interesting. So, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Marcus Norris, PhD. There you go, Doc. There you go, Doctor.
How you doing? How you doing?
Doing fine, brother. Doing fine. Now, folks, I just met this guy, Dr. Norris. Welcome to the Actor's Choice. My first question to you, sir, is where were you born?
I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at University of Michigan. My mom was going there at the time.
What was it like being raised in that city?
So I was raised actually in Jackson, Michigan, which is not far from Ann Arbor. But I don't know, man. It was very community based. I grew up with. I'm the oldest of six. So I grew up with a lot of siblings, and my mom is one of six, and her mom is one of 12. So I'm a big family person, And I just grew up running around crazy with my siblings and cousins, and I think about it very fondly.
Indeed. Indeed. By the way, did you see the Grammy Awards last night, the 67th annual Grammy Awards?
I didn't, but I caught a lot of the highlights.
Okay. It was a lot of people got awards, and some people they left some folks out. So,
Yeah, I saw Doechii won best rap album. That's historic. As Beyonce won. That's
yeah,
amazing. Kendrick won like five, so we
yes,
love to see it.
yes. Give him a call. Say, hey man, you did well. Because you know him. Do you know him?
I don't. I don't.
He has a good time. You know you.
One of
Yeah,
these
no,
days, one of these days, speak that I receive it.
got you, got you. Uh, let's see. How do you like the way that they did the beautiful thing for what's his name? He's passed this year.
Quincy.
Quincy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't see that part yet, but I saw people talking about it. I'm excited to see how it turned out. I mean, no, Quincy is one of those musical figures where like no amount of tribute will ever be enough. But I'm happy that they made the effort.
You grew up, I'm told, surrounded by music, primarily listening to rock and roll, excuse me, R&B, yeah, and rap.
I did. My uncles made music and they were producers and rappers, and they kind of exposed me since I was a kid to like the creation process. And I just absorbed it like a sponge. My mom listened to tons of R&B and even some of the old, like what was oldies to her, 70s and some of these things. And I just absorbed all of it, and couldn't get it out of my head, and it just stuck.
Looking good. GOOD looks good to me. And by the way, folks, I'll just share this up. A lot of people don't understand the Grammy Awards. It's so many people there that there are actually two shows. Folks don't know that. There's one that's off in the afternoon, and then there's one at night. A lot of people might not know that. It's because there's so many. Can you imagine? They give them 3 hours anyway. If you have to get all the other groups in, you'd be there all night. So that's what they do. Just want to let folks know. I used to be a reporter back in those days and had a lot of fun. Like the food that they give us back there in that business, they always throw good food out there for you. So especially that Oscar throws it out there. Uh, okay, developing a love of music at a young age. You got yours, the taste of gospel at the time when you saw rap beats in private soft tail. What's that all about?
Oh, so when I was a kid,
Yes.
I was just making like rap beats for my friends, and at the
Mhm.
time, we grew up low income, and so we had to like, we couldn't afford to buy the hardware or buy, the equipment, so we would just have to like find other ways. They used to have like, they used to call it cracked versions of like programs on CDs, and we used to have to use that, and I had to like build a computer from like scrap parts and stuff that I had sourced from different places. But it's like, that was all I had access to at the time. And I'm like, I got to get this song that's in my heart. I got to get it out into the world. And so
Yes.
we found ways to do that. Art finds a way.
One thing you did was you went to school and you got an education. Would you take a moment and tell us to people what's it like going to what we call education? What's that like?
It's a long and difficult path, but it can be rewarding. And it's, our country has a lot of faults, but it's like one thing that it's like this is a country where it is possible. Upward mobility is possible. And for me, school kind of enabled me that. Like, you don't necessarily need a degree to be a composer or to be a musician, but for me, it bought me the time to hone my craft. It got me to places that I didn't have access to or I didn't have a network in, like for me being Los Angeles. Um, so it was a lot of work. It was really hard. It was difficult. Wouldn't recommend it for everybody, but there can be a lot of benefits if you have the right temperament, if you have the right discipline, and you have the right goals.
Wow. Because going to school is one of the things that we tell a lot of people. get that education. You know, it's something that you needed out here in the world today. If you want to get a good job, or any job for that matter, better have a degree. And like I said, I used to teach over at Santa Monica. It was a lot of information over there, a lot of interest. I was seeing people do good things, learning it. I would have a chance to sit there over 20 some odd years and just talk with them, try to lead them and show them what's going to happen if you got an education. If you got an education, okay? By the way, we said something about a perfect man. We happen to have that. Roll it, Tony.
Basically, this is the moment where we want to feel like he's really got a shot. We realize, oh, this is why thousands of people come from all around just to hear him speak. You can see like the God in him. And in the context of the movie, it's kind of complicated because you're like, am I supposed to be rooting for this man? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know exactly what he did, but I know it's shady, but it's like, and so you kind of have these complex feelings. Musically, I tried to like mix preaching stuff, mixed with like this very orchestral soundscape, mixed with like some in your feels.
Beautiful. Solid, as they call it. Solid. That was good. That was good. Oh. The music you wrote at first was kept private, only used for yourself on a way to prophesy the world around you. True or not true?
Very true. So when I first started making music as a kid, just wasn't about like trying to pursue a career. It wasn't about showing it to anybody. It was really just a private thing. It was like my diary. It was my way of like processing my emotions. And it was like that for a long time. It just was, and I still to this day have a very personal relationship with music. Obviously now I share it and I'm happy to share it, but I still am. I still think my music is very expressive, and people tell me this a lot. And that's just my relationship with music. And I now feel like, now that I also work in TV and film, I feel like that gives me a superpower in that, because I think I'm pretty good at just like communicating a complex emotion immediately with music, because that was how I developed my musical voice.
Mm-hmm. And I hear what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying. Tony, would you please do me a favor? Can you go up to number 44 if you would? And let's take a peep oh, look at that picture. Look at that picture. Oh, that's nice. Oh man, can you tell us about what that? I know what you're doing at that moment, or this moment.
Yeah. So the picture was from the premiere of my very first orchestral commission. It was a violin concerto that I named Glory, and where I'm from, we were first, man. The Motown, the Detroit area, so when I got my first commission, I blew the whole thing on like a fur coat and, 10 bottles of champagne for all my people to pop. It was a celebration. And we ended up using that picture for a flyer because the piece, the violin concerto Glory, that premiered with the Jackson Symphony Orchestra, ended up also getting performed in China. So I went to Asia for the first time, and this was like the flyer that we made about it to just kind of celebrate the moment.
Going to China, the real China, and eat real Chinese food, not like we eat here in America.
Amazing. It was amazing.
Amazing. But that's what we tell people, get around. If you can, get out there to different places, get some education. And you travel a lot, I take it?
I do.
Where do you go? Where have you been?
Man, I go everywhere. I've been to a lot of, I've been to London, the UK. I've been to Sicily, a lot of different places in Italy. I've been to Egypt. I've been to Cuba a few times for music. I've been to China. Been to Belize, Puerto Rico. Tons of places, man. Yeah, I travel a lot as much as I can. It's a privilege.
If you were doing something else, carrying a gun around, they would say every time he goes, he got notches on his gun, going to these different places. Get a chance to see it. China, that's beautiful, beautiful. Dr. Morris, question. You said that there was 4 chapters of your organization at LA, Chicago, the Bay, and Atlanta. Is that set up that way? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so Southside Symphony is an organization that I started with the idea, what if the orchestra didn't exist and it was invented today by a young black man? It's like,
Huh?
what would they play? Where would they play? What kind of music? What would they look like? Um, and I started doing that and I started curating the experience. So it's kind of like it's an orchestra, but they're playing like hip hop and R&B, and it's a party, and gospel and all these things. And the idea has really resonated with people. This is going to be our fifth year, and most businesses don't make it 5 years, and so I'm happy to be here. But it started resonating with people, and we're doing it in LA, and people are like, "Well, when are you coming to Atlanta?" I hear that every day. Or when are you coming to the Bay? And so I don't know. I'm also big on like trying to make opportunities for a lot of these young black musicians because they're amazing. They are incredible, but statistically, they don't get hired for a lot of these orchestral jobs, even though they can do everything that their contemporaries can do. Last statistic I saw said that 1.8% of orchestral jobs go to black musicians, but at Southside Symphony, 95% of those jobs go to black musicians. And so the reason that we kind of have like different chapters of Southside Symphony, rather than like just touring everybody, at least right now, this may change in the future, but like right now, the reason is like, well, I want to tap into, like, if I'm going to the Bay, I want to sound like the Bay. Like I want it to feel like the Bay and embrace that community and collaborate with that community. Or if I'm going to Atlanta, Atlanta also has like a rich history. So it's like I want to embrace that culture of Atlanta and not just like, let me just throw Marcus Norris at you. So I try to find ways that I could like, just kind of curate that community and take what I have and what I'm able to do and kind of like put it all together.
Here's a picture we have of Chicago Youth Symphony. Roll it, Tony.
We'll start with Dance Without Me. We'll do it in sections, piece by piece, so we kind of overdub it, just the section work, and then we'll do Lifetime the same way. So how did the songs come about? So we have Lifetime and Dance Without Me. On Dance Without Me, for me, I felt like the chorus, we could bring in like some really soulful chords, like some gospel type.
So that was actually in LA. That was at UCLA, actually.
Okay. Okay. Who is your publicist?
I don't have a publicist. When I did Lady in the Lake, I worked with White Bear Publicity is the name.
Yes. The reason I asked that because you guys are all over the place. Wow, all the people that know who you are. I got to be real about it. This is the first time I've never heard of or met you. I'm glad I met you. I will never forget you, sir. I will never forget Dr. Norris, PhD. I will never forget you, man. Keep on going. How many instruments are you aware of that you can use yourself?
That I can play?
That you can play.
I play piano, I can write for all the instruments, but I play piano. And even then, like I'm a much better composer than a player. I kind of hit a fork when I was in college where it was like, all right, you can keep working at piano or you can keep working at composing. You're kind of like decent at both, but like you can only get great at one. And so I decided to get great at composing, and my piano skills have lessened, but I'm happy with the decision.
Okay, I'm a musician. I heard about you. How can I contact you?
You can reach out to me through southsidesymphony.org. If you want to play any of my music, all of my sheet music is at marcusnorris.com. I'm pretty active on Instagram. It's just at Marcus Norris. I post a lot of memes.
Wow. My goodness, I'm told you get around all over the place. Ooh, you have to get a lot. It might sound he said that 2 minutes ago, but he does it. And he's out there. You're in the field, Dr. Norris. That shows a lot. That really, really shows a lot. Okay. And I forgot to ask you, how many people are associated with you?
We probably have a really big network of at Southside Symphony because we kind of have a rotating roster and there's like different cities. I don't know. I should have an actual number to this, and this is a good question. I'm gonna look it up. If I had to guess, I'd say around 100 musicians, but I I'm really curious to know the exact number. But if I had to guess, I'd say around 100.
Excellent. 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 Man, oof. As we say in this business, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Just put something on. Okay. My phone was ringing in. I'm trying to do two things at once. We got a minute or two, but I just want to say to you, Dr. Norris, we definitely enjoyed in having you as a guest today. We earned a lot today, and we're going to get back again with you. Please thank Stage, a good friend of ours. We know that guy, John Friedland Jr. He's the one who set it up between me and you, and I thank you very, very much.
I love John.
Making a visit. Let me say two words. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, and much thanks to all the guests that we had today. Actor, comedian. Her lady was in here just a little bit. There she is. There she is. And then another gentleman that we had just a moment ago. There he is. He is. So we want to let people know that the Actor's Choice is a presentation of B&B Productions. Rudolph Brewington is the president. Special thanks goes to our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington, and we will see you next time. Take care.